This is Scott Becker with the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. Today's podcast are rivalries make things more interesting. So one of the things you see in sports and in business is competition and rivalries get the juices going. They create a lot more interest. They make it worthwhile. It's almost why, as a company, sometimes you almost have to pick out somebody to rival yourself against, to think about who you compete against. I know when running the law practice, the healthcare law practice at our law firm at one point, we used to constantly think of this other firm as our big competitor. It's us versus them. I don't compete against them. In the sort of golf world, what's fascinating to watch is this week's Masters, where if Tiger's not playing well, the Masters and the big PGA tournaments, at least for many of us, could lose interest. This year, however, a new rivalry was injected back into golf. It was the PGA versus LIV, the LIV golf tournament, with LIV sort of quoted as sort of the villain, but that's everybody else's opinion. I don't really you have a strong opinion one way or the other. No offense to those that want to hate the LIV tournament, but the fact that one of the LIV golfers, or two of the LIV golfers, Brooks Koepka and Phil Mickelson, were competing to win the Masters, made the Masters and that rivalry so much more exciting. And I think it's a fascinating comment on all of us. I mean, it made it so much more interesting, I think. I'd like to hear people's opinions on that. If you shoot me an opinion, it's 773-766-5322. I'm happy to send you a $50 Amazon gift certificate. You're the first person to shoot me an opinion on this. Do you think the rivalry made it more interesting? But I think in business, whether it's AT&T versus Verizon, at one point, the Android phones, versus the iPhones, Epic in healthcare versus Cerner in healthcare, AT&T versus Verizon, whatever it might be, these big rivalries make it so much more interesting. And I often think that in the nicest possible way, as a company, as an individual, if you could have a foil, a nemesis, ideally in a friendly, positive way that you're trying to compete against, maybe it's sometimes that will also help bring out the better in you or the best in you. And it's a fascinating discussion, but I do think that certainly these rivalries and these competitive situations make things an absolutely ton more interesting. Again, this is Scott Becker with the Becker Private Equity Business Podcast, as well as the Becker Business Minute Podcast. Love to hear your thoughts on whether you agree with this or not. 773-766-5322 or comment on my LinkedIn post. Would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.